Covers halftime live. I'm laughing because I was laughing before we came on. I can't catch my breath. It's 3-0 Commanders. Look, guys, we did this last week, and I said, as bad as this is, we're going to have to go through this with next Thursday because it's Washington and Chicago. Monday Night Football was warning everybody this was coming, and here we are. And I didn't expect it to be this bad. I mean, this is as bad as it gets overall. We're trying to come up with topics behind the scenes here of what to talk about, and we don't. I'm at a loss for this one. This one's going to be very, very tough. What are we watching? Is the lower third, and I'm encouraging everyone in the chat, help me out here as we try to suffer through this 6 to 7 minute halftime. What we saw in the first half, the Bears offense, and this is now 3 weeks going on, has been able to move the ball better than what the scoreboard indicates. We've seen them inside the 5-yard line with the first down twice tonight. We're unable to get the ball in the end zone either time. This is something that happened, again, 2 weeks ago when they were playing the Giants. We saw it 4 different times against the Vikings. They were able to get into the end zone. Where I'm struggling here is this offensive line against the Washington defensive front is doing nothing to protect Justin Fields. And so in some cases, you might look at that and say, maybe there's something here, but we're just seeing this offensive line get beat up snap after snap after snap. Fields has been pressured nearly 50% of his dropbacks. There is just no protection up front. And we're seeing him now towards the end of that half start to take a beating. So that's all bad on the Chicago side. What I would say from the Washington side is if you told me Heineke was starting the second half, I would take Washington at anything better than a field goal. I think at this point, the team is dealing with a situation where there's the coaching staff clinging on for dear life. The team is trying to do anything that they can. Nothing is working. The offensive rhythm is not there. The play calling has completely fallen apart from what Scott Turner showed us towards the end of last year, what we saw in the first 2 weeks here. And now you're looking at a situation where you have to back Wentz if you're betting Washington, and he doesn't even come close to doing a lot of things right now. 5 of 14 so far on the night, and he's not been pressured a lot. Just 2 times out of his 14 dropbacks has Chicago been able to register a pressure. Both of those turned into sacks, but Wentz has had opportunities. He's got the better skill position players of the two teams. This one's really, really tough. So if you have any week 6 questions for Sunday, put them in the chat. Here's what I'll say from the perspective of making a bet here on the second half. From a prop perspective, which is where we will go to first, because the side and the total is going to be a complete coin flip, which is the situation we've been in a couple times. But something I will point out is, obviously, Logan Thomas was unable to play this game. He is the tight end for Washington. In the pregame warmups, John Bates, who is the second string tight end, pulled his hamstring. And it was a very last-minute thing. As the kickoff was occurring, the opening kickoff, they announced that Bates hurt his hamstring in warmups. So what that leaves Washington with is Cole Turner at the tight end position. He's made the one catch, but what stands out to me is he has run 14 different routes, which is more than Cam Sims and just 2 fewer than Terry McLaurin. Right now, Turner is listed at 9-1 to score a touchdown. If we get Carson Wentz in the second half, which it seems like we will, his entire career, his main tendency is to find his biggest wide receiver target, his biggest tight end target. He loves throwing at these guys. And the only sense of offense outside of McLaurin that Washington has been able to show has been throws to Cole Turner. And so at 9-1, in as bad of a football game as we're ever going to watch, for something in the second half, that's something you can look at, is Cole Turner on the anytime touchdown score prop list. I think you're probably not going to find much worse of a bet than that. When we go to the side and the total, looking at 18.5 as the total, I mean, this is short. Chicago has been able to at least move the football. It's a complete force of anything here, and that's kind of the tough part about this show. If I had to go one way or the other here, I would be going with over 18.5 would be the bet that I would take for the second half. The only reason that I am doing that is because I don't think that this is a game where, unlike last week, there was two teams really trying to figure everything out. This is in many ways a spot for Chicago where a win and at least urgency throughout the second half is going to result in them being 500 within the division, which is an insane situation for this Bears team to be in. And everything that we've heard this week and last week from within the locker room of the Washington Commanders and everything that that team is going through, these coaches are legitimately on the hot seat. And to me, there's urgency on both sides. There's a chance we get Heineke, which I think is a boost. We're forcing things at the largest extent here, but for the second half show and having to get a bet out there, we will go over 18.5. I love nothing about this bet. This is as forced as it gets. I quite honestly like the Turner bet more if you're going to look at something. I saw somebody in the chat, Stephen Michael, say plus 950 is Turner to score a touchdown. I would play that over the second half total, but for the sake of the show, we're going to go with over 18.5. No need to go further than that. This is as bad as it gets. This is bad football. We've seen a lot of it, and this is as rough as it gets. But we'll stick on that Turner bet, and we'll go second half over. I saw Douglas Farmer too, 12-1 on that bet for Turner in the second half. Don't have much more, guys. This is as bad as it gets. Second half over 18.5. See you guys Sunday night for what will be a much better football game.